Shocked he's not here. He's
Oh,
gone.
what a surprise. So, welcome everyone. Mike has ran off because he thought he could run upstairs in 30 seconds. But clearly not. But so I'm going to start without him. Welcome to tonight's episode with just me at the moment. We are joined by Alex, aka Jack, and Charlie from JBG. If you'd like to just give a little spiel about yourselves for the new people that haven't heard of you yet. Look, here he is. Fail. And Mike. We're joined by Mike now. We are joined by Mike.
Had to go to my bloody garage.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
The question is, did you make it upstairs before you realised it was in the garage?
He's not gonna. No, we've lost you now.
Oh.
No, Mike, you've fucked it. You can't hear a word you're saying. No, still nothing.
There we go. Hello and welcome to the NoFo episode 2 of An Evening Spent with JBG.
Professionals.
I'm out of breath now. I had to go to the garage to go and get that.
Oh, that's all right.
Took a little bit longer than I thought. I'm not very well. We're joined this evening by Charlie and Alex, aka Jack from JBG. We're also joined by our virtual studio audience of Phil Dunn, Mark, Kenny Rebel, also Samurai, Graded Buffalo, A44, Lanav Challenge, Terry G, Chris Berry, Kenny Rebel. How is everybody doing?
You all right?
Yeah, more like how are you keeping after that little run?
Yeah. Do you want 5 minutes?
Right?
Yeah.
I'll start it later.
I could do with just going to bed, to be honest. Really not very well. It's all gravy. Gents, for those that don't know what JBG is, I appreciate we've obviously covered this many times in the past. Do you want to just give us have you already done this bit as well?
Nearly, but you interrupted.
We're at the end of the show now.
Yeah.
Do you want to just give us a bit of a brief rundown as to some of the stuff that you do? I'm guessing you haven't covered that.
Go on, Jack. You take it away.
Yeah, so JBG is basically a veteran-owned company, and we basically cater to teach CQB courses to airsofters, and we basically teach different sorts of things. So we've taught EMOE in the past, which is explosive method of entry. Outdoor courses teach basically military tactics to airsofters. Yeah, so that's the bread and butter of pretty much in a short period what we do. Yeah.
I mean, some of your courses I think are probably the best. I don't know. Airsoft courses and training and stuff like that, I think kind of gets a bad rap a lot of the time. Whereas I think just labeling it as that, it massively undersells what you guys do.
I think
you've been on more courses than I have, but from what I've done, it's just been. It's not just like, oh yeah, I want to get really good at like skills and drills and reloading and stuff like that. There's actually some proper content to it.
But there is that as well. Like I was shit at reload before, like, and genuinely, I think it was Charlie took me to one side and was like, "Sort it out. This is how you do it properly. Practice it at home." And I was like, "Okay."
Probably in slightly better context or words.
Yeah. No, I think that was pretty much it. You were like, "Nah, you need to sort this out.
Get a grip."
Yeah, get a grip. Sort your life out. But like genuinely, my airsoft games have got better through doing your courses. I just used to run around and just be like that. Now I aim.
Oh, you aim? Oh,
I aim
got
now.
To that part now. That's good.
Yeah.
It's even better.
And you can reload.
Yeah, I can reload and aim, but I still strangle myself with me slings. So I haven't got that bit down yet.
Oh, okay. We'll look over that over the weekend then. We'll go over it. See what happens when you turn up wearing a tourniquet. You're like, oh, good. This is even better.
Marcus says ex-British Army soldier does podcast. Basically hacks.
So we've been on the podcast for 5 minutes, 17 seconds, and we're already getting abused. Brilliant. Great. Love it. Yeah, it's great.
We already knew it was coming. It was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even want to check the phone. No, I really don't.
If you've got a question for Alex, or I keep wanting to call you Jack. If you've got a question for Alex or Charlie tonight, then please feel free to throw them in the chat. If you stick a little cue at the beginning, it just helps us find that as we're scrolling through. I wanted to just share a little bit of interesting news that I've found. So it's not Airsoft related, but I felt that this would bring a little bit of levity to this evening's show. Has everyone seen, obviously, and to clarify, this isn't a political broadcast or a podcast or anything like that, but has everyone seen Donald Trump's intention to buy Greenland? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there is currently an act of Congress going through to allow him to even consider actually legally doing this. Now, it's HR 1161 of the 119th Congress, and the bill is actually called the Red, White and Blue Land Act of 2025, because they are hoping, when they buy Greenland, to rename it Red, White and Blue Land. And that's not a joke. That is genuinely real. And I thought it was something that made me laugh. And I thought it would, yeah. So.
This is when the Americans come into the chat, innit?
That's what I mean. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just think that there's a better name for the bill than calling it Red, White and Blue Land.
Yeah.
But hey,
I think there's one of those already. I think it was a theme park.
Right. Well, the first question I want to talk about is obviously training in Airsoft as a whole. We've obviously kind of covered, there's a little bit of a stigma. I think there used to be more than there is now. I think it's kind of mostly, to be honest, because of yourselves kind of changing that. But there's people out there that kind of, generally they don't necessarily do MilSim, but if they do MilSim, they might still look down on the concept of training. What if you were to kind of sell the benefits of what you guys offer or training as a whole within MilSim, what would that be?
I think we put it on a story the other day. It was basically skirmish is becoming almost like obsolete, and it's very much a hit and miss thing. So you turn up to a skirmish, you might have a good day, you might have a bad day. And not to say that could be a battle sim or a MilSim as well. However, I think the fact that you're going to an event where there's going to be like-minded people, there's very low risk of having an argument, seeing someone non-hit taken, or coming in with full ego. I think it's very much everyone's on the same playing field. Like when we did the GBB, our only course, everyone was on the exact same playing field. There wasn't one drama whatsoever. And I don't think we've really had a drama on any of the courses, to be fair. But I think it's the fact that you're finding like-minded people coming together within a community of other people, of airsofters, and they just want to train. They just want to do something which they've always wanted to do. They've wanted to see. They've wanted to practice, and they're like, okay, the guy to the left of me is doing it. The guy to the right of me is doing it. I'm now doing it, so I'm just going to put in 100%. I think that is why people come along, because they want to find that group of literally like-minded people.
Do you find people rock up with bad habits? Like I always feel, because I felt this a little bit. Like I try to come into it with a completely open mind along the basis of, look, I'm here to learn. I'm not here to try and kind of blend together stuff that I do, if that makes sense. But I appreciate there are a lot of people out there that have watched things like SEAL Team. They've watched, James Bond. They've watched all these kind of, or played computer games and stuff like that.
It's funny you should say that. We got a guy called Ryan James. He loves SEAL Team. No, in all seriousness, I wouldn't say bad habits. I would say
learning difficulties.
Habits they've picked up over time. That's probably what it is. It's the habits they've learned since they started.
And it's not to say like it's right or wrong. It's how serious people want to take the training, how serious people want to get into airsoft. If they want to become like a full-time, MilSim player, then if they want to do the correct drills and stuff like that, then obviously there's you need to learn it and stuff. But I've seen a few bad habits come along where you're just like, oh, please don't do that again. Please. That's just too cringe.
Sorry. I've got better.
Sorry, I've really tried. But yeah, I don't know. It's a real hard one. What about you, Alex? What have you seen?
Yeah, I totally agree with what you said, to be honest. I mean, everyone comes along and everyone's completely different when they come to this course. I mean, if we had a course full of blokes that never been on the JBG course before, everyone will have their own little different traits. And if someone be good, someone be bad and stuff like that. So it's just trying to, when you're teaching, sort of stepping back and having a look and sort of trying not to break down the good things that they've learned and sort of build up on the bad things that they've sort of got. I always say when we're teaching this, that it's like nothing's sort of the wrong answer, if you get what I mean. It's what's comfortable for you. So if I was teaching Andy, say, like, if he felt more comfortable keeping his rifle in the right hand shoulder, well, who am I to say that is wrong for him? So, but yeah, I just think I agree.
I think playing left-handed to right-handed, that's one of the things that I highly recommend any player to do, just because I found that, like, just even if you skirmish, go to a skirmish and force yourself to use your non-dominant side for an entire game day, and that will sort you out. Like, it's hard to start with, but you just get used to that ability, especially on corners. I always find, rightly or wrongly, again, I'm not in any way trained in any of this. This is just purely what I found when I go airsofting. But when you're going around corners, the number of people that you see that will just rigorously stick to their dominant side, even if they're going a left-hand corner. So you immediately see their head and their left-hand side first before we even see their rifle.
That's one thing that I've tried to start doing, is just running a whole game shooting on my left, like shooting on my offhand.
Yeah.
It's a shit game because I always get shot, but I'm getting there.
But it's hard though, isn't it? It's almost like breaking that muscle memory that you've been doing for so long. So that's why whenever anyone comes along, we always say, like, it's all about repetition and like muscle memory. And a lot of it you can just do at home. Like, I'm pretty sure Andy still does it with a sling, but he probably still stands there in the mirror, like, sling on, like, and then try and swap in shoulders and that. I'm sure you do that, Andy.
I genuinely do. Like, when the missus ain't about, I'll carry it downstairs, and then I'll be like, I'll tactically go downstairs.
You need to do it in front of her. You need to impress her. Woo her for the evening. That is how you'll do it.
I don't need to. I've got the ring on it now. So
those days are long gone.
Yeah,
as long as she's taking the battery out or something like that. As long as you're taking the battery out, you can accidentally shoot her.
Yeah, it's all right. Gas only.
Yeah.
Unless I'm trying it with the LMG.
So what's your? Go on.
I was just going to say, what's your like similar sort of question? What's your like pet peeve, as it were, with like airsoft tactics? So I mean, like mine personally, and I'll say this to anyone, is multi-shot shotguns in CQB. If you can't shoot someone in CQB with a single shot, then don't play CQB. And chicken wings, like that. Oh. When you see someone walking around like that,
and
they've got their arm out, and you're going around a corner, and I've seen your elbow before I've even know that you're there. They would be mine.
For me, probably the chicken wing thing. It just gripes me every time I see it. I don't know why. Like you said, like coming around the corner and someone's got their elbow stuck out and they're peeking, and you've already seen like all this, and you're like, oh, cheers, mate. But, I think chicken wing is probably like the most annoying thing I've seen, but I wouldn't really say like there's many pet hates. It's sort of like if people turn up and they've already got like almost like an ego, and it's like they see us and they're like, oh, they've got an attitude, but we really don't. We're probably like the most friendly, down to earth people you'll meet. Like, I've gone there and said the reason why I blow my face is because I'm fucking ugly. But like, that's it. That's the only reason why we do it, because it looks cool on Instagram and probably I'm fucking ugly, but no one cares. But yeah, I think people turn up with an idea of what the event is about already before they even come through the door. I think that really gripes me. It's like, look, you've paid to come here. We've given up our time to be here. You've given up your time. Just let us do our thing for the day. I mean, at the end of it, if you think it's crap, just tell us why. But don't say it was crap for no reason. At least tell us a reason as to why and how we can improve for the next event. So that's probably my 2 pet hates. So go on, Alex.
Well, this is a hard question for me. I'm not quite sure. I know that sometimes when I'm looking at people's kit and the stuff that they've got on, they come like they've built for fucking the whole of World War III. They just bought everything with them.
I'm popping off to Ukraine after this.
That's right. They're just ready until it ends. They've just got the whole thing with them. But I just think like just pointless pouches in places where it's just like not needed, if you get what I mean. And there's probably
I've got to admit, I like that on your training course when you went round and you were like, "What's that for?" And I was like, "It looks cool." And then you were like, "Well, just take it off." Like, why is it? And I was like, "Okay, yeah, it's gone."
But when it's good that you said that, to be honest, because when we did do that, and I think we've stopped doing it now lately because sometimes it just takes a bit of time to do it, and it just wastes the actual training time.
Yeah.
But it is a good thing to go through because you see people when we do have tight weekends, and you'll see it this weekend, Andy, with the new people. When they're going through doorways and stuff, they'll get stuck in the middle of it, and you'll see it, and they'll bounce off the doors and stuff like that, and they'll get caught up. But yeah, that's just my biggest pet peeve is too much kit.
Little Neeks is frantically taking pouches off my rig before Saturday now.
Yeah. Turns up one magazine pouch.
I'll be looking out for him.
Yeah. Turns up in a mankini with one pouch wedged in the top. Ready.
Why have you got that on? Honestly, why? Take it off.
Yeah. What's the use?
Yeah. Just hold a magnet to your bum cheeks.
That's good advice for all aspects of MilSim, though. I mean, the amount of times that you see people that use, say you're doing like a sleep, like a camping out event, and they've got the bag and they've got everything hung off the side of the bag, like it's so frustrating. That rattles. You go like a pre-patrol kind of walk down. You're kind of making sure what your line and order is, and you go right. Everyone jump up and down just to kind of see if you're rattling. And you've got at least 3 people that are jingling for some reason. You're like, why? Oh, it's my keys. Well, why have you got them? You don't need your keys. And it's little things like that can massively enhance your stability, your stealthiness, and things like that. And when you fall over, you don't want to be like jingling down the hill, or you got to chuck your Bergen down quickly and fight behind it. You've got stuff flying off in all directions. It's that's a little peeve of mine that I see regularly. But
the battle rattle was definitely one of them. I remember first time I went to Gran Canaria before I think Alex came out with the second one, but we were about to step off on patrol, and Dan Hades, he comes along and he sees me put on a day sack and something rattled in it, and I was like, I'm out of the army, I don't care anymore. Like, who cares? And then I turn around and I just see this face get closer, and he was like, are you gonna fucking sort that out? And I was like, it's like, mate, I'm out. Just leave me alone. We're on a MilSim in Gran Canaria, and I'm getting gripped in the middle of a fucking desert. Oh. But yeah, I've got battle rattle. Yeah, add that onto the list.
So, other than things like checking your battle rattle and kind of like maintaining like small amounts of kit and kind of just focusing on what you need as opposed to what looks good, what are some kind of quick tips that people can adopt? It's a bit of a freebie from a JBG training.
Digger.
That still confuses me because it's written backwards. I'm not
JBG here if you want, mate.
Yeah. But just in terms of like things that people could apply now, like literally quick wins. Like for example, not having magazines, for example, the number of people that you see with kit just falling off them because it's not restrained properly. Pistol lanyards, they're quite a useful thing, but they can catch on stuff. So are there any other kind of things that you can think of?
To be fair, I've got one for battle rattle, but it's a bit of a faff. But what I used to do when I was playing skirmishes and stuff which I've stopped now because I've made sure that I've got enough mags for what I'm doing. But what I used to do is get a sock and basically cut get a screw bottle plastic bottle, cut the actual bottle part off, stick that in a sock, elastic band it to within an inch of its life, and then chuck the BBs in there, and you'll realise that it's not as loud as it's sitting in a plastic bottle, shaking around like a maraca when you're running.
Yeah,
that's really good. That one, it just sits.
Yeah, you can buy them on. You can buy them on eBay now.
Yeah,
someone literally makes them. I've got 2 or 3 filled when I'm running the LMG. They're really good.
Yeah. But even if you've lost one, just whip a sock off, drink a bottle of water. Everyone's got a zip tie somewhere, and they just zip it on, it'd be fine. There you go, good to go. But yeah,
I feel that's the sort of thing you need to do on your own time, though. Don't do that in front of other people, because it's like, what the fuck are you making?
Why are you running around with one stock?
Yeah, as the other.
Blisters on one foot.
Oh, quick tip. I'd say, like, before you do the event, proper play dressed up at home and look for things that will catch you out. So, like, the battle rattle for one, make sure everything's comfortable, because the amount of times, like, people have gone on an event and they're like, something's rubbed on their body or something like that, or like their shoulder hurts a little bit. So, like, actually have a rehearsal of like what you're going to be wearing, and then like proper break it down. So, like, almost like a prelim. So before the event, you're going to check over all your kit, make sure it's like all serviceable and functional. But most of it just doesn't, like you said, Mike, just doesn't make a noise. So there's no battle rail. I think that is probably like the number one, because I think, like, when me and you went longboard, Alex, like, there was one guy, he just started running around the area, but you could see him from about fucking 200 meters away, but you could hear him from even further. It's just all the battle rail on him. So
yeah,
I think that was Mike with his high capper mag. That was
one time.
No high cappers allowed, please.
Yeah,
I still haven't lived that down.
No.
Right, there's a couple of questions that have come in, and just some abuse. So we'll run through everything as a bit of a mismatch.
Yeah.
Hamish says Charlie's got a Lego haircut. Pass it on.
True.
There we go. Terry says, let's start a GoFundMe to buy Greenland. Mark says, I really can't wait for April. Really looking forward to be learning the knowledge that these legends are willing to pass on. Defiant, remember, chaps, always swapped your pistol at the doorway.
I knew that was going to get brought up by someone.
Care to elaborate?
No comment on that one. Just, if you're going to take information from people, make sure you. In fact, just get that one. It's probably easier.
That's fine.
I ain't got the brain capacity for that one tonight.
On the mention of Ryan, there's also a lot of love for Ryan on this podcast. So Terry G, I really like Ryan. Daniel Guess, fuck me, I'm late. I do love Ryan the Hobbit. Marky Mark, I really like Ryan too.
Oh my god!
So always love for Ryan. I
don't know.
What fine events. No, mate.
Like
Alex is an absolute,
isn't he, Ryan? You know, like American football teams have like crazy mascots. Ryan's sort of.
You want us to get little Ryans?
We've just got a gnome that runs about with a little JBG hat on. He's somewhere in Cyprus at some point.
I'd buy a mini Ryan, to be fair.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, just like a little Ryan key fob or something like that. There you go. That's your next merch.
He's going to listen back to this and be like, for fuck's sake, isn't he? He's going we love you, Ryan.
The ideas.
Yeah. Defiant, no mate, Alex is an absolute rock star gentleman and not at all a bad influence on me if I've had a beer or two.
I promise there is no story behind that one, I'll tell you.
Little Neek, make sure the curtains are closed before you clear your house. Probably a good shout.
It'll be all right. Say you're a MilSim player, you'll be fine. Police will let you off.
Yeah, private lands. Can't hurt, can it? Yeah. Philip Dunn, I'm right-handed but left-eye dominant. I've always transitioned depending on corner, but have recently started carrying left-handed as my primary carry hand. Bit of a head fuck. Promise you though, do it for a couple of events and you'll have it squared away. Like, it is the sort of thing that, you know, it is just a getting used to it exercise, basically.
Yeah, did he say he's
I mean,
left-handed?
optics help as well. Like your optics help. Like since I've moved over to just the red dot, I find it a lot easier to transition from left to right and get aim quicker. Whereas before, when I had something that had like 1.5 zoom and was like a holographic, I was all over the place. So I think optics make a big change as well. If it's not working, try changing your optics, maybe.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm exactly the same. I'm left eye dominant, but I use my right hand, like my right shoulder. So yeah, I get where he's coming from. But yeah, I always found those Unity risers so much better. But yeah,
game changer.
I mean, everyone's got them now, haven't they?
Yeah,
it's not a rare thing.
Especially when you're wearing.
They're cheap on AliExpress as well. If you want to, knock off
AliExpress is the best way forward.
Yeah.
I always find it interesting when people say that, when they're like, "Oh, this is what's it?" They say like, "Oh, it's a real steel part," and I'm like, "Yeah, this is a real AliExpress part as well, mate." Cheers. Like, no, I still don't care.
I was chatting to someone today.
You can just about see I've got a Manta suppressor cover because I see a lot of people running those now, and I was like, you could either spend £100 on the Manta website, or AliExpress you can get for like 20 quid. And
exactly.
Realistically, it's a bit of silicon. Let's be fair.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the team today, and he was saying how he bought a drop-down pouch for his plate carrier from Spiritus. He paid 150 quid for it, and I quickly searched on AliExpress, and I said, "Do you want to see how much it is on Ali?" He's like, "Go on." It's like 50 quid. He's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah. I think there are some things. So, for example, it's quite a nice little segue, really. I've recently purchased a couple little suppressors because it turns out the Manta suppressor cover doesn't fit any of the suppressors I actually own. So I'm now having to buy a suppressor to put the Manta suppressor cover on. But I bought it on 6mm. Yeah, I know. I bought it on 6mm Airsoft, and it turns out that they have just randomly cancelled my order. So where I bought two things, they've cancelled the order, and I'm now paid £18 shipping on one item, which is really frustrating. And I've tried to cancel it, but they've not in any way notified me. They've just changed the order, refunded me the money for the actual suppressor I wanted. And then because they're in Hong Kong, they only respond overnight, so there's no correspondence there. So just a bit of a warning if you buy anything from.
Yeah, so I literally bought something from 6mm, literally last a couple of weeks ago. All that AKM upgrade stuff. They cancelled it, so I emailed them and said, "Look, I want my money back," and they were like, "But it's on its way." And I'm like, "But you've cancelled it," and then all of a sudden it turned up yesterday. So I don't really know what's going on with them. At the moment.
Just word of warning.
Yeah,
when we're buying from there,
just get confused.
Yeah, I bought a mock oil can suppressor. I'm very excited about it, but it's a lot more money at this point because I didn't actually get the thing I wanted to buy. So, yeah. Charlie's looking like, what the fuck are we talking about?
No, I want to get a Monster can and Monster Energy can, and then put a little 6mm, 20mm hole at the bottom and screw it in. Yeah, and then get an extended barrel as well onto it. I think that would be quite nice. And then change it. So
I'll send you the link afterwards. Basically, this oil can suppressor type thing is, to me, the sort of thing that you could probably take out the little kind of insert screw and put it onto anything you want, because it ultimately is just an old oil can that they've basically adapted. So yeah, I'll send you a link, but just be careful when you buy it that it's £18 shipping, regardless of how much you order. So
great, brilliant.
Yeah. Marky Mark says, question, what would you say is the most ideal length of rail that would be most suitable for CQB, or is the best what you're comfortable doing it with?
Did we do it with a 50 cal? I can't actually remember. It's just ridiculous. It's come around the corner. No, we tried it with Ashley's rifle, didn't we? Do you remember at Shift?
Yeah. Ashley's HK, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, he needs to bring that this weekend, actually. Sorry, you
He's
completely diverted me. What was the question?
Is that because you fell in love
what's
with
the most ideal length of rail?
Well, I'm bringing the PKM, so you can run around with that.
Oh. Yeah, all right. No words needed on that one.
I'd say a 10.5 rail. barrel or something like that. I don't know about you, Charlie, but
I think 10.5 is probably ideal. I think because I've had so much exposure because of Ryan James. Because every time I see him, it's just a new barrel length. So you get hands on it, you're like, right, I don't really like that. I'll put that down, swap it out, put out a new one, and like a new upper. It's actually quite nice. But yeah, I think 10.5 is probably like ideal. But then some people really like SMGs, so like the MP7 or the MP5 when we're going. So, I mean, Ryan did a really good hour pretty much on like rifle manipulation at Defiant on the day after the battle sim. And like a lot of the stuff he was showing was really good because he used his longest rifle and he was showing like you can use whatever rifle length in a CQB environment, but you just got to learn how to break it down, how to move it properly, and everything like that. So I think I'm going to go for 10.5 in a long answer.
Yeah, I'd agree. 10.5. But then also I had one of those. It's just like a standard M4, wasn't it? I always used to run an M4 with a longer barrel, and I always used to. It took a while for me to get used to that, and then I upgraded it a little bit and put a LPVL on it for CQB, which has no use, but I used it for outdoors and indoors. So just played with one gun pretty much. So, but it's got used to one.
Yeah, I remember that.
On that train of thought, then, in terms of the best platform for CQB, now I would imagine that it's obviously somewhat dependent on whatever you're running before you get to that CQB scenario, because there's very few events that is literally right. I'm now going to do some CQB stuff, so you have a special CQB loadout. It generally tends to be, you've moved from a wood block into a CQB environment or something similar. What's the best platform ultimately to do CQB with? Are we talking a pistol? Are we talking an SMG? Or are we talking like a rifle? Obviously, we're not going to start going down the road of DMRs and sniper rifles because I'm presuming that's not the best.
On that one, how am I supposed to get into the building when I'm not allowed to enter a doorway with a pistol? Just putting it out there. I think you've got to be really adaptable. So, like, whatever you're carrying at the time, unless you're carrying like a PKM or a Gympie, then it's going to be, if you had an LMG, you can always collapse down the stock or like bring it over the shoulder. But I think you've just got to be adaptable and learn to use whatever length, whether it is literally from a pistol only. Because like that's one thing we're bringing in on the weekend. Oh, sorry, did I say that? But like stuff where it's only pistol, so you have to run the shoot or the kill house with only a pistol, and it's learning to see how you adapt and change from having both a primary and a secondary to only one, where you don't have a backup. So I'm almost just going to go like a standard M4 platform. Like it's probably the most easiest one. Yeah, I think that's just going to be my one. What about yours, Alex?
Yeah, I agree. I think because I've only played with an M4 pretty much for as long as I've known. I think the M4 is pretty much, or an M4 platform, shall I say, is the way to go. To be honest, I mean, going back to the question when you said, "What do you think is the best platform?" I don't think there is one, to be honest, mate. Like you get everyone coming to the course, and like you say, Andy, you've got people with shotguns, you've got people with SMGs. You've got people with HPA tanks screwed straight onto the gun. But yeah.
HPA.
But yeah, I think like Charlie said, you've got to be adaptable to it because it's exactly the same as pretty much like if you went into the room and the first, say you was using a gas gun, the first gas gun round that you fired, that the mag vented itself, you're buggered if you haven't got any more mags left. So you've got to transition to your pistol. Well, there might not be time to change. So you might as well just carry on with the pistol until you can reload your magazine sort of thing. But like I said, it's just got to be adaptable to it, like Charlie said. But yeah, I don't think there is a wrong and right answer for that one, really, to be honest, mate. Yeah.
No, it's hard, isn't it? But then, like you said, like a lot of people... Go on, Andy.
No, go on, mate. Mine was just taking the piss.
Oh, I wouldn't expect anything less. I think like everyone. I think one thing which people do is they do turn up to the event or course and have a set loadout straight away, and they're like, right, this is the loadout, this is my CQB one. But it's like, but then I get, because it's Airsoft, it's, you know, you're going to a CQB day because you've booked onto that day. It's like you wouldn't go Blackstone with a Bergen. I mean, some idiot probably has, but like if you go to Defiant or, you know, one of Defiant one of their Longmore events and it's a 24-hour, you might be finding yourself, you need to do a recce through a woodblock and then you need to assault into a compound. So then you're already doing a woodblock, VWAF potentially, and then straight into CQB. So where do you know, you haven't got time to change, so you have to set your load up prior, moving off or stepping off. Or do you have two teams? Do you have a recce team and a support team and then the assault team? Like, I don't know, it breaks down to so many questions. God. But I think you should train, or I think you should come to an event comfortable, but I also think go outside of your comfort zone and come in with something that you wouldn't have used before, or like maybe bring like two loadouts. So like in the morning, say like, oh, I'm going to use an M4. And then in the afternoon, you're like, right, I'm going to use an FA80. Oh, 2 minutes, it's already broken. Right, put that down. Real life, isn't it? And then you go to something else. And then, you know, you keep rolling with it. So I think push yourself outside of the comfort zone and, yeah, just see what works for you, really.
Yeah, so the first couple of events that I do with you guys, I took my Mark 18 because that was my go-to that was my go-to platform. And I wanted to be able to learn how to do it with that. So in case, like you said, if you have pushed for a wood block and then you're assaulting a compound, that's the weapon that I'm going to have on me.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't got the balls to run it with the LMG yet because I can't be bothered to change it over to single shot. But but that would be my second. Do you know what I mean? That would be my second choice. So like, how would you deal? Because they're my two go-to weapons. Like this weekend I'm gonna bring my AK for a laugh and see how I get on with that.
Yeah,
because that's not collapsible. That hasn't got a collapsible stock, so it is what it is. Right?
Is that gas as well?
Yeah.
Lovely. It's gonna hurt.
So, Alex, you mentioned obviously you generally only play with M4 platforms and the like. Are there kind of SMG or equivalent platforms that you would consider using for kind of CQB stuff? Or is there anything that you've gone, I could see that being a real practical application? Because I appreciate we talked about woodblock fighting to transition to CQB, but I guess if we're talking just a pure CQB event, so for example, you go to Blackstone for the day, you know, what sort of platform are we talking then? Are we just still defaulting to an M4 or?
It's a hard one really because I haven't actually played at Blackstone yet. Last time I went there, I was on crutches, so
you're hobbling around.
I haven't actually played properly there. So, but from what I heard from Charlie and some of the guys there, one of the guys bought his Sega along, and he had the stock fully out as well. And he said after a while he just changed. I think at the end of the day, I think he switched all of his rifles out that he bought and just ran with a pistol.
Yeah, so he did. I remember that.
It's really difficult to sort of say, but I'm not against SMGs at all. Like for Airsoft, an M4 and an SMG both have the same killing power. It doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah.
But if you're talking real steel and stuff like that, obviously there's other things, but we won't get into that because it would be here forever and it'd turn into a grand fun podcast. But but yeah, but I haven't. Yeah, just owning your own ranch and shooting at anything that moves. But yeah, but no, I have an MP7 as well, and I've used that multiple times before, and I love it. I've actually put it into sort of night mode at the moment, so it's just got an IR laser on it and hasn't got an actual optic on it. So hopefully, if we ever or this weekend we can start using that and see what it's like, just to give it a go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie, you've got I know that you've got a variety of sort of various platforms and stuff that you use.
I honestly don't. So this is true. I've got one SMG. I don't even have that at the moment. It's with another photographer for content. I've just given Alex back his M4 after 4 months. My AEG rifle is buggered. It doesn't work whatsoever. I've also got a Glock that doesn't work. And then Ryan James has everything else that I borrow. So technically, rolling back to that one, I actually don't currently really own anything that works. So, yeah.
All right, fair enough.
And I've booked on for this weekend to play. We have to go and get a spring-loaded pistol or something.
I mean,
do they do hire guns?
You can borrow my AK. Yeah, they do hire guns. You can borrow my AK. You can borrow my AK.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
That's all right.
So, okay, pivoting the question slightly then, in terms of like if it's a pure CQB event, do you favour like an assault rifle style platform or an SMG or a pistol?
I've actually started using the MP7 more when I've got it at events, and I actually really like how I like how maneuverable you are with it. Whereas using Alex's M4 for quite a while, it's pretty stock. And what's the barrel length on it? I can't remember now.
14. I think 14.
Like it wasn't long, but it was like obviously MP7s are a lot easier to move around corners. And I just preferred it. And especially for like EMO as well. So like when we do EMO teachings, it's a lot easier to teach with a fully collapsed stock, and it goes down to that big instead of still 14 inches. Just like a lot nicer to teach with. But I know Ryan James won't like that because he's always the one going on about you must carry a rifle that's long. I'm like, yeah, sure, mate. EP7 for me. See you later. So,
I mean, personally, that's where like I think Ryan would probably agree that the Rattler kind of shines a little bit because it's sort of a long SMG that uses M4 mags, so it kind of bridges that gap, doesn't it? A bit, I find.
Yeah,
but I love mine. Like that.
Is yours? Yeah, yours is gas as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like using Ryan James's. I mean, we got past Rich's on Friday, and he doesn't live that far off the motorway, and Ryan James is not in the country, so it's basically like the airsoft version of Blockbusters at the moment. Like, you go in there, you just take out a rifle for the weekend, you return it on Sunday evening. Friday deals.
Yeah,
I mean,
get a free bucket of popcorn and a Coke.
Yeah, exactly. Buy a Coke with it as well. Thanks, Rich. See you later.
What he doesn't know doesn't hurt him.
Exactly. He's probably watching this like, oh yeah, it's Ryan James.
Yeah. On the subject of SMGs and the like, if you've ever played in a British prison, like for example the jail or the Citadel down in Dover, I've found that some of those places you see it very visibly, and it's a very kind of tangible thing that you can kind of grasp. Is the people with the longer rifles really struggle to peek out of a prison door because I think they are slightly narrower. Whereas with an SMG or a pistol or any kind of folding stock capability, you do get that ability to compress your platform right down, and you can just sneak out of a doorway. So, word of advice: if you ever do get the ability to play somewhere like that, bear in mind that the door widths do vary, and that having an SMG I found to be particularly handy. So I run an MP9 gas blowback because it's just cool.
It's such a flex, isn't it? Right about
It's only because I have such a bad reputation on here for running an AEG with a high cap that I just have to every once in a while remind people that I am, I try to be a proper player as much as I can be. So.
But you flinch every time the gas rifle goes off.
That's part of the problem I have with gas blowbacks, is that I have a real bad flinch reflex.
Is that what?
I can't help it.
What make is that? Is that KWA? Because they do an MP9.
No, that's a ASG one.
Oh right, okay.
Because I think ASG and KWA are kind of the two kind of heavier weight brands for MP9s. I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference between them, but I just have an ASG one. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's got this standard barrel 6.34, made of ABS plastic. I have no idea. Right. Fine. Keys are for the technical, mate. Big picture shit. All right. Not all of us get to have vehicles. Talking of the whole JCB instead of JBG, we've got Gunnar Ross. We're getting digger certified this weekend. Graded Buffalo, digger certified JCB course. Little Neek, forklift, 30 boys. So,
look what you've done.
I know.
I mean, I just thought one of your stickers for your next sticker pack should be
JBG bit of JCB.
With little Ryan James sitting in it.
Little gnome.
Yeah, little gnome sitting in a JCB digger with JBG on the side instead of that.
Noted.
You can have that. You can have that for free.
Oh, cheers, Andy. Thank you.
That's all right.
A disc screw on the roof.
Yeah.
Typical Asian Scarecrow says, "I've definitely not dropped a pin grenade in front of Charlie while trying to draw before." So
yes,
I must profess, one of the courses I attended with you guys, I never normally do this, and it was only at this event I was trying to impress. Not gonna lie, I thought I'd do like a proper tactical looking reload, and I just basically went fuck it and just hit the mag release, like flung the rifle slightly sideways to just drop the mag, and then slammed a new one in and kept going. And all I heard was, "Don't drop your mags." I was like, "Oh, this backfired so quickly."
Oh no!
And then you made me do press ups. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would have been GBBR.
Yeah,
I think it's because like Hades said this really well, but he was like, for like real world, yeah, you would just drop the mag because it is useless to you at this point. But I think because it's gas and it's like you're dropping money, like that's like 60 quid you've just dropped on the floor. Like I'm placing it down gently with a caring kiss at the end of it. Like I'll be back for you in a minute. Like I can't be dropping magazines these days. Christ. Unless they're Alex's, because they're not.
I was just trying to, because we were standing there literally doing like reload drills and like quick draw with the pistol and transitioning and stuff like that. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna try and do something cool here. And immediately, as soon as I did it, it was like, no, that was really embarrassing. So don't do that if you go to a JBG course. Pegasus asks, how important is a decent torch?
I think it's decent.
Probably not in the daytime.
AliExpress do some really good ones.
Probably not in the daytime.
Fair enough. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I mean, you have got a point. Yeah, I think a decent torch in CQB is pretty decent because how many times have you blown like blue on blue? Like in a CQB environment, it's good to quickly get like a PID onto the target. Or if you haven't got nods and you need to illuminate the room real quick or like illuminate where you're looking, like the torch is probably going to be like your number one, obviously, friend at that point. Yeah, I think it's pretty important to have a torch, but some people just don't carry one. Like some people just won't carry. Like I think they've got like bat sensors. They just like scan the room with a sensor. They're like, yeah, enemy there. They're like, how did you see me? So yeah, I think it's important.
Yeah, it's how you use it as well, isn't it? Like with CQB, like if you keep your torch on the whole time, you're going to basically tell people when you're coming. But what we try and tell people is that if you keep it on for a few seconds, scan what's there, and then keep it off, and then you can act on what you've seen, sort of thing. Then that's probably the best way to use it. But the torch is useful, but it depends how you use it. That's probably
I think so.
The best answer.
I think that's something we're going to go over the weekend as well with, because we've obviously gotten the nod training and the low-level light training as well. So it's something which we've tried to do on other courses, like the low-level light stuff, but I don't think we've had it dark enough, like Blackstone can go, where you can really put it into effect and be like, do you see why this doesn't work now? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, hopefully it goes all right.
Find out Saturday.
Yeah, find out Saturday. Oh, it's like bonfire night down there. Look at it. It's really bright. Torches going off everywhere.
I wonder how many people turn up and their torches aren't working.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. You could add that to your MilSim prep list. Check the batteries, because the amount of times people just go, yeah, it was right. I only put them in there last week, 3 months ago. So
it's all right. Our typical kit list has a torch in every pouch, pocket, and everything. Anyway, like,
but no batteries. We didn't actually put batteries on it. I don't think. Just have a torch in every pocket that you've possibly got, but no batteries. Yeah,
brilliant.
Same goes for radios as well, though, doesn't it? Radio batteries and charging them up, and obviously gun batteries if you run an AEG and stuff. It's all good stuff.
There's nothing worse than like 20 minutes into an event where you hear low battery. Oh, no.
This is when Dan Hayes gets in the chat.
So at an event at Thunder Park Airsoft down in Cornwall, me and Alex chucked our kit in the back of his truck, and he's got a tent box, so we just were like, right, we're going in the tent box, whatever. Go there. And I left my radio on all night, and me and him sleep like a fucking light. You ain't waking us up. If World War III kicked off, we would not wake up. And Dan, he's down on the floor with his Mrs. Caitlin, and they're in a tent, and then all they can hear is low voltage. And this went on for a solid hour. And he was banging on the truck, he was banging on the tent box, nothing, mate. I would not wake up. And eventually he did get into a truck, didn't he? Away we go.
He was like dragging me out by my sleeping bag.
Low voltage. It went on for a solid hour.
I couldn't believe it. When I got out there, I was searching through all the kit, ripping all the kit out the back of the truck. Looked at my kit. I thought, oh, it's not mine. I looked up and I like, you bastard. Absolute bastard. He's left his thing.
Sorry.
Just slipped through it all.
I literally did, honestly.
You're none the wiser in the morning.
Talking of the different courses that you do, we've obviously mentioned the EMOE. So for those that don't know what EMOE is, if you could explain that, and then also explain how you make that course work, because I appreciate that for a lot of people, the mere concept of that is purely embedded in real life and films.
So an EMOE course is basically listening to Green Day 20 times over. It's basically EMOE is explosive method of entry. So it was what I trained up as in the army, so as a sole pioneer. So that was like our main job, our main effort was to obviously initiate the first breach into the building. And then when we started to look about how we could make the courses better, we thought, why not bring in something which we've done, or like what we've trained up in, so specialization. So we thought about it and we were like, right, let's bring in EMOE. It was a bit of a wobbly one, because we didn't know how well it was going to go, or how right it was going to go at the same time, because we've seen it done, but only like small stuff, and we're like, okay, we actually want a door to come off the hinges, sort of thing. Turns out it's actually not that hard. It's more of a experience than anything, to be truthful here. It's like the CQB stuff you can do all day long. Like, it's actually a training value over to a real life value. So obviously going into airsoft games and stuff like that, it holds some value to it. Whereas an EMOE course is literally for the experience of like, right, you know, how many times can you go to an airsoft game and actually blow a door off the hinges? You can't, unless you're really angry and you just want to hit the door. Yeah, crack on. But you'll probably get a big fine at the end of it by the site owner. But for these ones, it's literally an experience of like, right, okay, here's a clacker, here's some dems. You're going to set it up. You do everything. We just stand back and we're just safety for it. We'll stop it if it's going to go wrong. But apart from that, we just stand behind and let them do the dem. So it is a really good experience for them. 9 times out of 10, all the CQB drills just go out the head, because they're just so fixated on that door and blowing it off that when they do go in, it's just like, so everything we've taught you just gone, is it? Brilliant.
I want to go boom.
Yeah, it kind of is like that. So yeah, it is more of an experience more than anything, but I think there's ways that we're going to bring it in on the weekend, which make it more so. How to say it? For a MilSim team, I think it's perfect because each player each player will have a separate role. And I think going into that as a MilSim only team, EMOE would be brilliant because you can actually break down your kit to a proper way. So like, how are you going to carry DEMS on you? Oh, I'm going to carry it in this pouch. Okay, right, cool. I'm going to carry a drop down pouch. Yeah, cool. So yeah, I think, yeah, it's just one big experience. It benefits more towards the MilSim players, but for anyone else who just wants to blow a door off hinges, then I highly suggest you sign up, and then we'll get you to blow off the door.
Nice. Have you considered? I was going to say, have you considered doing anything like the big red keys and stuff like that?
We
stuff like that.
We just highlight the event as a EMOE because that always gets the best bang for buck. But I think, so we do incorporate obviously the other methods of entry. So we do like the like mechanical and manual. So I can't remember their Instagram names, but me and Alex call them the two Brads. They just turn up every single event and they always bring the big red key with them. Don't even need to ask. They're just like, I brought the key. But they use it all the time. They let other people use it, which is a great experience for them. We'll bring sledgehammers. We'll bring power tools, Milwaukee, obviously. Chain, and then they actually have to cut through and everything like that. So there is a lot of there's a bit of risk because you look at some players and you're like, yeah, we have got liability insurance today, haven't we? Yeah.
Should I give this person an angle grinder?
Yeah, it kind of sometimes we are a bit hesitant. We're like, okay, right, we'll set the DEMS up on this one, mate. You just stand back. So the majority of the time it is fine. I say that, no, all the times it's fine. Sorry, that's what I mean. Unless Andy's doing it.
Well.
Yeah.
We'll see you yeah. I mean, I've reinforced the door, so you could hopefully you can do what you want with it.
That's a really boring. That's a really boring potential course, isn't it? Like instead of door breaching, door reinforcement.
Yeah. Yes, into this one, well, I can't. You've reinforced it too much.
Yeah. It's a course run by Andy. You spend 3 hours learning carpentry to basically reinforce the door to the point if you can't open it.
Yeah.
We'll start worrying when Andy's taking his work after every blow. But yeah.
So what's the full suite of courses that you offer so far? So we've obviously talked about EMOE, we've talked about CQB, you've talked about sort of low light stuff. Is there anything else kind of within your repertoire? And also, when's the JBG MilSim going to
happen? What else do we do? So we're going to look into doing more green stuff, so like green skills, but it's such a niche. It's like there's hardly not anyone that wants to do it, but more of a case of it's hard to find people that want to do it. But they are out there. I think there's definitely people that would be like, yeah, I'm really keen. I know obviously you guys did a almost like an intro to a MilSim. So something like that would be amazing to do, I think. And I know that would be up Ryan Street, 100%. So something like that I would really like to do. More scenario-based stuff and like maybe venture into battle sims at some point, but like very low level of like, okay, this is the scenario for the day. Or like me and Alex were saying it, like a private CQB day. Well, not private, sorry, but like
scenario day.
Yeah, like a scenario based day. So everyone that attends, it's like all the like-minded people come together and it will just be like, right, this scenario is going to happen now. This scenario is going to happen now. You just got to go through it. You just got to roll through it, see what happens. And then every time afterwards, you just come back, get a debrief, you go again. And you just do that all day. And then we'll have an enemy force ready for you. And then we give them cards to obviously play along with. So it'll be like a green card to play civvy, a yellow one to play a civvy, but maybe not compliant. And then a red one, just do what you want, just cause mayhem. So these sort of scenario days, I think these sort of scenario days is stuff that we really want to open up to at some point this year. Just not sure when.
Oh, that'd be cool. I know I've seen it in the UK. You can hire, like a Boeing 747, like a grounded 747 for stuff like that. I could see that being kind of your next step off point. Not necessarily the plane. I mean, that I appreciate that's probably got cost implications.
Andy will just turn up to like Bristol Airport and he'll be like, "Right, I'm ready." I'm like, "Oh no, wrong one, wrong fucking plane."
Sadly,
but that'd be cool because
sadly, someone ruined getting a train, didn't they, on the Elizabeth line? But
yeah.
That turned out to be a cosplayer, I believe. I think that was somebody that was going to a convention, wasn't it, as opposed to an airsofter? But yeah. No, but I think that'd be cool. Like if you ran a scenario based event, which is similar to, I mean, we've all seen them sort of the training days at like SWAT run, and like in the US, like interagency training days and stuff like that. I could see that being very popular. Especially if you because you could almost like rotate people with teams. So if you've got a team to book on, you can run that course, maybe twice in the day, and then the rest of the day you are facilitating the course for the other teams.
Yeah,
you play Scared School Devil number 1 or something like that.
I think that's always something which we've found not difficult to do, but like it can be challenging at times where we have like repetitive customers come back and they're like, well, where can I go from here? Where can I go from here? And it's like, okay, if we split the course down, we've got you two and then like 10 others on a basic, and then you guys are on like advanced. How do we do that? How do we say like, right, okay, you guys are going to now stick together as a two? But then I think that's why we're going to bring in scenario days and say like, look, if you've been to a course, it's going to massively help you. However, if we can get it for like maybe a weekend, like you could do 1 day of training on the Saturday, a bit like Splatoon where we do 2 days. But I think open up to more like-minded people coming together on the Saturday and just running through like low-level drills, not like in massive depth, but just be like, right, okay, if you're bored, you can go there and go on the range and go through like a little kill house. If you want to get stuck in scenarios, you need to like go over there, sort of thing. So I think that's one to do for this year, 100%. But yeah, we put us on the socials the other day about doing like a weekender event or something like that, where a lot of people say camping is like necessary or like essential. And I think that's something that we really want to find this year, where we can run a weekend event, maybe with like a storyline behind it or something like that, maybe quite immersive, and go from there, really. I think that's the only way that we're going to keep on going forward, just keep on evolving, obviously, what we're doing.
Alex, if you had your way, Alex, what sort of event would you do? Like, we're talking unlimited budget here, but like
with no parachutes.
Yeah.
Inflatable dinghy.
I've had a few in mind. It's a couple that I thought of, and some people have mentioned that they'd be interested in. But I always said about doing something like a recce course or something like that. I know I've spoke to Andy about it before, but it would be good to, as like obviously Charlie knows a few people that in the recce elements who still serve there, and I've come across people who served as a recce platoon before, and it would be just good to. I think it'd be quite. It's more like the EMOE courses, where it's more of an experience, and it's more of this is how it's actually done. Like you've got a 4-man team in one hole, and they're sitting there for however long. And they're just rotating on jobs for however long they're there, just constantly watching one location. But I always said that would be quite good. And a few people I know, I've seen him in the comments already, but I won't name his name. But we're in chats already about doing some sort of land nav.
I wonder who that is.
I wonder who that is.
Without pointing at who it is, but
some sort of land nav challenge event.
Yeah,
would be.
I wonder who we could go to for that.
So we've been chatting for a little bit now, and not to give away everything we're doing, but we're just thinking something like a doing some sort of land nav. No, not really necessarily airsoft involved, but when we get to certain checkpoints, there'll be some sort of military themed challenge to do. Say, so Charlie will know what I'm on about. We used to do some things called observation lanes, and so essentially you'll just sit in one point with your rifle and your scope, and you'll basically look out over a scenery, and you'll have to pick out, say, a pen in a tree or something like that, and you'll have to write that down, and you'll get told how many items there is. You've got 10 minutes to find them, and you're frantically searching, writing. And so it'll be something like that. And then at the end, when they've finished and they're hanging out and they've had a brew and stuff like that, we'll go through all the scores and stuff like that. It could potentially turn out into a competition, but yeah, something like that I think would be quite good.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I like the sound of that. I'll put my name down.
Yeah.
I was just thinking what would be entertaining is if you combined that with something in the region like wild camping on Dartmoor. So you confine people to like a grid system, almost like the training that the obviously Real Steel do over there. But you could have something over there where you've got people out there intentionally trying to spot the players as they're moving about. They've got to stay completely concealed. They've got to obviously do the land nav type stuff. That would be quite entertaining. I mean, that's obviously taking the airsoft element almost completely away from it at that point, because you can't just be running around a public place with toy guns.
But I think it's just rolling it back to that experience, really, isn't it? It is just an experience which people watch a lot on like YouTube and videos and Facebook, and they don't really get to do it. So why not open it up over here, sort of thing? But I think for an airsoft term, I think you could do it. I reckon, like if you had private land and a lot of it, I think you could do it. Like it wouldn't be hard to do. I think it's definitely something on the cards that I think that we both want to really crack down on.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
There's a couple of suggestions in the chat. There was Pegasus said I'd be interested in a first aid moving wounded course, which was seconded by Graded Buffalo 44 in terms of a medic Cassavac course. Quite cool.
Yeah, we could look into that. Yeah, definitely.
Right, we've got loads of stuff lined up in the chat, so let's just answer some of the questions quickly. Unless you've got anything, Andy, you wanted to mention?
No, I was just reading the comments that were coming through.
Defiant Events is the monster can suppressor for your next speed softer loadout.
Oh, he's a bastard, isn't he? He knows how to team me up.
It's all right. We'll skip past it. We just have to humour them.
Yeah, we'll skip past that one.
Pegasus says, "I'll pack the G28, Charlie." So there you go. Galaros, how necessary is it for MVG compatible optics for use under nods, or can you get away with lowest brightness on more non-compatible optics?
I think you can get away with it, but I think I'd take it he's referring to this weekend because I know Ross is obviously booked on. But I think because of how close it's going to be, the engagements, I don't think it's really that necessary, to be honest. Like, they're going to be close. But then, that is your chance to practice with the lowest brightness or no brightness whatsoever on the optic. So I think, he'll learn it as he goes through and he moves through it. So Ross, get back to us in the evening when we're sinking points down at the spoons.
What would you what would you say would be better? Would like an MVG compatible optic, or like using an IR laser? Like what? I know they're both slightly different tactics.
Yeah.
You tend to see either people go with an IR optic and they don't use their IR laser, or they don't have a MVG compatible optic and they use the laser a lot more.
Yeah, I would personally use a laser more because you don't have to bring it fully up to the cheek. You'd have to try and get an actual position in. Whereas if you just had a laser, you've just got to keep it always slightly underneath. You can just fire from obviously like center of chest almost. Where if you can zero that laser to wherever that BB is going to hit. I know it's BB walls. It's not always going to hit where that laser is. Sorry for anyone that's spent on their real Gucci gear, whatever. But like the AliExpress stuff that we've got, it's not always going to hit. But because it's so close, 9 times out of 10, it will probably hit roughly around that laser. So I'm probably going to go laser. What about Alex? What are you going to go for?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. It goes back to when I said about my MP7. I've set it up to just have a peck on it, and that is it. But it's basically on the side, so that's what I'll be using at night. Well, in our night scenario for this weekend. But I would go with that. I mean, the night vision optics for like the normal NVG optics are more. Well, I don't know about you, Charlie, but they was only ever given to like the GPMGs and sharpshooters, but and snipers, obviously. But for just a normal gunner, we was just given IR lasers. But yeah, that's what I was given. But yeah.
Stupid question, because I don't have any NVG, so this is very naive from my point. IR compatible or night vision compatible optics, is that literally just a green dot?
No, it's essentially like normal nods. But essentially you put it in front of the sight that you've already got there sometimes, or the whole unit can have a reticle inside it. So you just take all your optics off and then place that unit on top. But not many people like doing that, because every time you replace the optic, you've got to re-sight the rifle in.
Yeah.
So yeah, usually most people like just the clip-ons on the front. But yeah, that obviously comes with a price tag.
Yeah. But apart from that, and I don't hate doing shout-outs, but for this one, we've obviously teamed up with Reaper Night Optics. So they're pretty new into the scene, but they've got a number of, I can't remember, I know they're dual tubes, but I can't remember the specific name off the top of my head. I know they're Jerry's. You remember Alex?
Jerry 14, is it?
Yeah, something like that. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. But he's got a number of units which he's bringing up on Saturday, which he's going to obviously lend out to the guys. I've used them for a content shoot. I've used them for a game. They are really good. And for me, I don't own a set of nods, but if I was going to... That's it, Jerry Footmans. Cheers, Ross. If I was going to continue to go to like MilSims and I didn't have the money to drop on a set of nods, I would probably rent them, because the amount of times I'd use nods, I can't, I'll just come back home, my missus would put me a bloody head in. Like, if she saw I just bought a set of nods, that would be ridiculous. So yeah, I think renting is definitely a really good way to go forward. And he's got stalls to set up as well, bit of clothing, bit of merch, and I think he's just going to promote his business, which I'm all for. Like, let someone else come up. But yeah, he's going to be showcasing what he's about, and he's going to be giving out a couple of nods to people. And I know people have already bought in with him, like, for the day.
Yeah,
they want to train with a set of nods, and I think that's brilliant. I think that's something which is really uncommon in the UK to actually. I know there's another company called, I think it's MV Night Optic, I think, but there's not anyone really doing like night optic rentals. And then yeah, like little Neek said, they come with IR lasers as well. So like a Engal goes on the end of the sight of a Picatinny rail, wherever you want to put it on the rifle. And he's got I think in the package it comes with the dual tubes, the IR light and laser, and then he will do the helmet with it as well. He's got like a number of helmets to use, and then the Rhino mount as well.
Mount, yeah,
that's it. So in a package, it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah,
I think
especially
from
if you haven't
talking
used
to one of
them
the
before.
blokes. Yeah, it's definitely good for all the MilSimmers as well. Like, I think one of them was saying the other day that if you can hire them out for 60 quid for the day, and then you just send them back, so essentially, why would you buy like a $5,000 set of nods? But each to their own. I mean, if you feel comfortable
it depends on how much you're going to use them ultimately, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if I bought it, I'd walk the dog at night. Like, I'd literally just go out with them on and walk the dog in the pitch black. I'd be like, right, I'm getting.
I don't even have a dog. I'd just go outside.
Creepy.
Just walking past people at night. Hello.
Blinds himself by looking at the moonlight or something. He's like, I'm blind. Legally blind.
Well, we like when I first got mine, with a friend of mine, we literally went for a night walk. Like he came over, and we literally walked through our local forest.
How hard is it though to walk with nods on?
Yeah, pain in the arse.
Yeah, bad. Your depth perception just goes. Like I remember it was a train. Oh, I can't remember what it was. It was a training exercise we did once, and this bloke, he had like a monocle on, and he was like reaching for the door handle, but the door handle was like there. And he's like, he's like, he just couldn't grab it. He's like, where is this fucking door handle? It just goes. But I think with like training, obviously, like we've got it on the course. You ain't going to become like Splinter Cell level nod expert with like 3 tubes on you, but like hopefully it will give you some insight into how to use nods effectively and how different ways you can use them. So yeah, we'll see how it goes really. Like I'm hoping it pays off, which I'm sure it will.
Gunnar Ross, Andy did a night walk with Ryan Little, both under nods. It was great.
Yeah, it's a good laugh, especially when you walk into a tree because you haven't noticed it on this side.
Yeah.
It's when you try and take a step over a branch, but you're lifting your leg all the way up and then trying to take a massive step when it's really just at your shin.
Yeah.
Defiant says finding your dog shit in the middle of a field with thermal is a game changer.
Handy, didn't think of that.
If we make this is the thing, if we can force society to use night vision and thermal in more societally acceptable scenarios, these things will become cheaper because more people will have them, and therefore we can all use them more regularly, and we can all go out and buy them without the fear of last week's episode where my missus completely shut down the idea of spending that much money on nods. So
yeah, we all know someone like that. Hey. Names.
Landnav challenge. Are you okay with AKs?
Yeah,
I hope so.
I think they're good, reliable, pricey.
Little Neek, the amount of Marui gas MP7s you see at Blackstone is nuts. They are great there. So a bit of love for those.
Yeah, it does work. For a grenade.
Daniel Hayes, I threw a grenade at Charlie on a battle sim.
So, have you been to Longmoor before?
Yeah.
The buildings, you've got the...
We run a MilSim podcast. Of course we've been to Longmoor.
Upstairs on the buildings, you've obviously got the they're really small...
Banisters.
Yeah. Like through to the next room, like really small ones. Like the kill... was it like the murder
like
hole?
the little kind of kennel hole type things, yeah.
So I was on one side, Dan was on the other. There was an enemy coming upstairs, and you just see a torch, low-level light trails. Don't use your torch inside a building when it's daylight. And it just illuminated the area, and I was like, right, I've already seen this free silhouette, so I know it's free enemy, hopefully. See one guy come in, I pop shot him, he moves back in, and then Dan strikes a grenade, and he throws it underneath, and it hits the wall in front of me, and it drops to the floor, and I was hoping it was going to sort of like veer off down to the stairwell, but it didn't. It just landed pretty much in front of me. We've both got it on GoPro. It's brilliant. I just sort of look at it, take a second. I'm like, that's going to go off in a minute. So I launched my body through this manhole, not even a manhole, this kennel, with so much confidence that I actually did make it all the way through. But the forward roll and then it stand back up, and the faces that me and Dan looked at each other with is brilliant. I can't wait to put it into a video. I really cannot wait.
Yeah, we need to see that.
It's a good scene.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Nice. Defied Events, ASG holds the licensings from B&T. It'll still be made by KWA, so that's regarding the MP9. Okay, little fun fact. PJ Harry's, what's the plan for the jail event? GTC want to know.
So the jail is going to be a sort of just a CQB and scenario day baser. We got Hades coming over from Gran Canaria. I don't know why we love bringing them over when it's really cold. Like I don't know why, I just love it. So we've got them coming over in March, and then PJ from Gibraltar Trading Company, he's going to be there as well. He's going to set up a stall. I think this is PJ's first sort of like public event really. I know he's always done his stuff online because we've been chatting for like nearly 2 years now, but we've never met. But yeah, it'd be really nice to catch up, fucking meet him. And he's gonna have like a little stall there. Bless you. He's
Thank
gonna
you.
have a stall set up with all his really Gucci streetwear. So yeah, look forward to meeting up with PJ.
Nice.
Cool.
That'd be cool.
Little Nick, many hours of blowing doors on Ready or Not has me hyped for emo on Saturday.
Wear ear deafs.
Yeah.
Like that's
That's a question I was going to ask.
Remember it? Fucking hell.
No, that's a question I was going to ask. So with Ear Pro, obviously not everyone has it necessarily.
Yeah.
You know, is it a case of you could just rock up with some in-ear defenders, you know, like little foam plugs, or is there a certain kind of level of Ear Pro that you require?
We can't make people buy it, but it's like your eyesight. Like once your hearing goes, it doesn't really come back, and I think that's really important. So I've got a set of pelters that I used when I was in, so I acquired them and left the army with them. So I've kept on using those. But we do offer out the like in-ear protection. But if we do say to people, you know, like if you've got your electronic ones, do bring them. But we always say as well, like double ear up. So like putting a in-ear and then electric over the top, maybe. Just because, Andy, how loud was it in there, even with pelters?
Oh, mate, that was mental.
Like,
yeah,
Tony was
like,
upstairs, wasn't he, in his office? And
he was upstairs, yeah. Like, it was, because obviously it's like a metre wide concrete corridor.
Yeah.
Like, that blast had nowhere to go other than up.
Yeah.
so
but
it's
going to be good.
I mean, this weekend, yeah, definitely you've got to have it if we're going to.
I think so. It will be a really good experience as well. Like, we got a good couple of bangs to set off. But the main focus is obviously the CQB element. Like, that has to be the main focus. The emo stuff will come later, and like, you know, hitting down doors and stuff like that. But I think for the time being, like, the CQB is a must, 100%.
If anyone's interested, if you don't have, I've opened the wrong bloody website. If you don't have any ear protection or anything like that, you can get relatively cheap over ear protectors, which look like these. So these are kind of ex-army surplus.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not necessarily the best. They're not electronic in any way. Sorry, I've just completely hidden Alex. Hang on, there we go.
There he is.
You can get these quite cheap. I mean, we use these for the mortar rounds and everything like that when we're setting those off, because, you know, we don't all necessarily run around with the electronic stuff or the, you know, the integrated headsets and things like that. But if you want something a little bit more protective than the in-ear ones, you can pick these up quite cheap. This is from a company called Military Mart. They're not a sponsor or anything like that. And you can get them cheaper than £7.50 as well. I've seen them for £5 in places. So,
I mean, you go to most army. If you've got an army surplus shop near you, they'll have those in there.
Yeah, usually they come in like a bucket somewhere in the corner. There's just absolutely hundreds of them.
Yeah, just clean them first.
Yeah. I mean, this thing, they're not expensive, so don't ever rock up to an event without some form of ear pro. Would be my recommendation, regardless of what you're doing, because it's always better to have it and not need it than not have it, and then you can't hear for the rest of your life. So, there you go. I mean, cuddly words of wisdom from the Foxtrot there.
I mean, worst case scenario, pop to screw fix, and get some sort of. It doesn't matter if you're wearing bright orange.
2x4 and just shove it in your ears.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like Charlie said, your ears are the same as your eyes. Once they're gone, that's it. It's very difficult. But even then as well, like hearing, if you do too much damage, it can deteriorate. So it might not damage them straight away, but 2 or 3 years down the line, you might start getting hearing problems. So, yeah.
So I genuinely have a really bad. I've had problems with my hearing all my life, and the number of people that do that joke, the perfect comeback is, do you know how many times I've heard that joke? Never. Just little top. Daniel Hayes, recce course for the win. think that means recon. You'll have to double check me on that one.
Recon.
Recon. Who says run your optic on one brightness? Passive aiming is always the way. No need for IR optics, as when the fighting kicks off, you can't see the dot without nods.
Yeah, true.
November 52. It's not a case vac, lads. Listen to too many poorly narrated military books. It's a Casevac, pronounced Kazivac.
Yes.
So, there you go. PJ asks opinions on digital night vision for a cheaper alternative.
No. Yeah, I've tried. There's a weird delay.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like
you move your head and then the image, and then the image kind of catches up with you.
Yeah,
it's odd. It makes you feel really sick, or it made me feel really sick.
It's almost like motion sickness, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, because your head stops, but then the image is still catching up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not.
I do wonder how long it'll be until things like, the Meta goggles and stuff like that have like inbuilt thermal and NVG on them, because it's a logical addition for those things to have like additional sensors and stuff like that. And I can kind of see people kind of running around with these massive goggles over time.
I bet they'll fog up though.
Mm. They'll probably have fans and stuff built in. Punish one is, sorry, I'm still not on the road. I'd rather be looking at it than for it. I don't know what he means by that.
If he can see it, can he see that or not?
Oh yeah. Hang on, we'll zoom in.
Yeah, hang on, I'll make you a bit bigger, Jack.
Hey, that was just for you, Lance. Or Dave, whatever your name is.
Whatever your name is. Touche.
I forgot you.
Oh, ear defenders he's talking about.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then he says, hi, Jack. So, right, we're coming to the end of the show. If you've got any last-minute questions, then please feel free to throw them in the chat. While we do that, guys, do you want to tell us how people can get in touch with you, find out more about JBG, and subsequently book onto your awesome events?
Yes, so you can get in contact with us via our Instagram, so just JBG_Airsoft, or go online, www.jbgairsoft.com, and just ping us a message or an email if you really want to. Email's a bit too formal, so if you could just Instagram me saying, all right, mate, that's perfect. If we have got a WhatsApp as well, but I'll throw a link out maybe after this if you want to join a community WhatsApp or something like that.
Or drop us a message. We can
share it absolutely.
Well, so perfect. It's not going too public for you. So
yeah, it's fine. But yeah, that's probably the easiest way to contact us. And if you want to book on, head over to the website. And then obviously just find the event that you want to do. We do have more events coming up. We just need to confirm them, as Jack is going to be doing soon. He just needs to confirm a couple more dates on the calendar, and then we'll get obviously the events. So I'm just looking at my calendar. Yeah, we'll just get them straight out.
Just looking out the window.
Yeah.
What are they doing out there? But yeah, I mean, like other events we're going to be going to is obviously Defiant. We got, is it 2, right? I can't remember now. How many Defiant events are we going to?
One so far, yeah. One that we're actually, it's more of a introduction to Airsoft for the MilSim players and stuff, or introduction to CQB courses and stuff. But it'd be good to work with them this year and the coming years as well. But yeah, we're definitely getting on more Defiant events anyway, even if it's just playing, because that is something that we don't do enough anymore. But yeah, it's good.
Preaching to the choir there, mate.
Right.
Yeah.
We need to get Defiant on again soon. If you're listening, James, we'll get in touch and we'll sort something out. They do run good events.
Yeah, very good events.
Really enjoyable.
It's just run by a knobhead called James. That's the problem.
He's got a nice Land Rover. I'll give him that.
I love you, James. You know that. Right, Gunnar Ross. If anyone turns up this weekend without Ear Pro, I have a spare set if they need them. There you go. Defiant Events says you cannot pretend to do MilSim and not own in-ear hearing protection. It's the best defense against snorers. Yeah,
that's true. Unless you're the snorer.
Yeah, so I've never had that problem. The Punish one, the Recon sucks balls. He's a firm advocate of the Recce. Marky Mark, the no 13 hours recreation and putting tissue paper in your ears, then for that tactical look.
Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty cool.
Typical Asian scarecrow. What's the best type of Haribo?
Fantastic.
Oh, it's got to be the fried eggs with the hearts in it. Original.
What? It's got to be original. Yeah, it's got to be original.
Yeah.
Right. I'm a big fan of straws at the moment, but they get a bit sticky. They're not. Yeah, it's just fruit, isn't it? It's just strawberries. Go finding a 5 a day.
Things that what those big strawberries that just stick to the inside of your mouth.
They are a bit sticky. That's the only problem. Like the eggs are definitely the winner on that front because they don't get all like clanky, but yeah. Cool. On that note, thanks guys for coming on. a real high point of the show to end on. So in terms of your event this weekend, what can people look to expect?
I don't know. I haven't even planned it yet. No, to be fair, no, it's going to be held up at Blackstone CQB, owned by Rift. It's probably one of the best CQB sites in the UK at the moment, or will be for the next couple of years until someone pumps in a lot more money into another site. But the site is amazing. It's outstanding. I know there's multiple training groups wanting to get in there and use it. We're going to go there first and then obviously deliver a CQB / insight to EMOE / nod and low level light training in there as well, / scenarios / everything else. So there's a lot to cram in. We've got the full day there. It's going to be really good. It's going to be something which I don't think the UK scene has seen yet. And I'm just glad that we're there to be at the forefront of it. So yeah, it's going to be a really good event.
Yeah, should be good. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'll see you Friday night, Andy.
Friday night.
I can't wait to see the pictures. Yeah. It's going to be cool.
Oh, I think you should come along. I think you're just pushing it out.
I can't come along this weekend. Unfortunately, I have other things I need to do. I've got to build a planter this weekend.
A what?
I mean,
basically, my cat keeps pissing and crapping in my house. I'm not bringing my cat. It'll be a nightmare. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but that's not happening. So I can't get this weekend.
I mean, I'll tell you what, if you come this weekend, I'll have the planter built for you tomorrow and you can just go back with it.
I appreciate that, but
yeah, so you thought about it there.
Yeah, I always look at options. Right. Graded Buffalo is going to be a brilliant day.
Yes.
Right, next week we are going to be finishing our 2-part series of...
Yes, a spammer. Hello, Open Air Thrill.
A spammer.
Thanks.
Next week we're going to be finishing our 2-part series on pushing sim to the limit. How real can Airsoft MilSim get? So feel free to join us again Wednesday, 8 o'clock for that. In the meantime, guys, we normally do closing words, and I feel like, without being rude, Charlie's had a chance to really sell JBG. So I'm going to put this down to Jack this week in terms of what the closing words are. So I want some, words of wisdom or, a strong sentiment that we can finish the show on a real positive high.
Cool. How long you got?
Sorry, I did literally just put you on the spot straight away.
He's like, I don't know what to do now.
Yeah.
Like a deer in headlights.
It is literally. Oh, you could have given me a heads up.
We did.
Well, you've seen the show before. You know we do this.
Yeah. Oh, I really don't know what to say, to be honest.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you a bit of time. While Alex works that one out, if you want to get in touch with the show, you can do so on our email at nofochat@hotmail.com. Our Instagram is @November_Foxtrot_NoFo, and the website is novemberfoxtrot.co.uk. If you want to get in touch with us individually, you can do so at 9volt Airsoft, which is over here now. For myself, at _quartermaster for Andy, or at the _punish_1_ for Lance. I'm getting really good at saying that.
Yeah, you are.
Right, back over to you, Jack. Go on.
Well, yeah, come and join the courses. It's good fun, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah,
I
love it.
Ooh, that's good. That's good.
We look forward to seeing you soon.
On that note, have an absolute cracking week. Thanks again to Charlie and Alex / Jack from JBG for joining us. It's genuinely always a pleasure. And
Thank you.
if you haven't heard of JBG, I don't know why not. They are all over the place at the moment. And get yourself to one of their events. They are absolutely cracking. And I guarantee you will learn something.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
Even if it's how to tie your boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's if you try and drop your mag. Don't do that. Right, on that note. Right, say goodbye, guys.
Bye, guys. Goodbye.
Bye. How better.
We'll see you next week.
Sound better.